Good morning, everybody, and happy Manifestation Monday. Now, before we get into this and what I want to say, let me just go ahead and light this sage because I know my sage look ugly, y'all. I'm trying to use the rest of this before I open my new pack. But guys, what do we have going on? And including like us women, just in general, what do we got going on? Why are we acting a whole asshole in Houston? First of all, when did Houston become a spring break destination? But why are we as women acting an asshole out here? This is why we don't have no respect. Now, oh shit, that went right in my eye. Clear our energy, clear the energy of the collective. I'm sick, guys, so please excuse me. But before I get into this daily devotional, I just want to say something. I know Mondays are really shitty for a lot of us, but I do want to reinforce the fact that Mondays are used for new manifestations. They're used to set our intention for the week. So it's very important that we try to keep as much peace and positivity on Mondays as possible, because we do carry that energy throughout our week. This is the day to plan anything that we do want to do in the week ahead. And it's really just meant to base our week off of. So I want you guys to keep that in mind as you walk through your day. Today is March 16th, 2026. So let's find our devotional today. Okay, March 16th. And of course, we're reading from the Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. March 16th is nature's sway. When the wind stops, the trees still move. The way my heart creaks long after it bends. I am always surprised at the after effect of being moved deeply by something. I can be hurt or disappointed, or feel the warmth of being loved or the gentle sway of being temporarily left. And then I'm ready to chew on to something else, seldom allowing for the feelings to digest completely. In fact, I've come to see that much of my confusion in life comes from giving my attention to the next thing too soon, and then wrapping new experience in the remnants of feelings that are not finished with me. For example, hold on y'all, I'm at work, so let me click around. For example, the other day I felt sad because an old friend is ill. I addressed my sadness directly and thought I'd been with this mood enough, so I continued on my way. The next day I found myself in the usual frustration of traffic and shopping, and in the indifferent reactions of waitresses and clerks were suddenly making me sad. Or so I thought. Though it seems obvious here in the telling, it wasn't in the happening, and I spent a good deal of misguided energy wondering if it was time to change my lifestyle. But really I was feeling ripples of sadness about my friend's illness. The deeper lesson involves nature's sway, its approach, its impact, and especially in its echo. Everything living encounters it, especially us in the unseeable ripples of what we think and feel. Being alive takes time. Today I challenge you to, whatever feeling that you feel strongly today, I challenge you to really sit down and think about it. Take a moment to meditate on that feeling, and I want you to ask yourself, is this feeling that I'm feeling because of the situation that has just arisen, or is it because of something previous that I have not dealt with yet? I think as humans, we all tend to brush things off until it's convenient to deal with. Honestly, that's really fucking unhealthy. I do it all the time, and I'm only saying it's unhealthy because it's something I do. It's extremely unhealthy. And I'm not saying that we need to deal with things as things arise because, we're busy and all that. But that doesn't mean we need to completely brush off the feeling and act like it doesn't exist. We need to deal with things that bother us. We need to acknowledge our feelings, men and women. I think men especially, because it's not It's not accepted, I guess, as much for men to be emotional beings or to be in touch with their emotions. But it's extremely unhealthy when we don't at least acknowledge things that bother us or things that make us happy or anything. So today, I challenge you to do just that. I challenge you to look at and evaluate any strong feelings that you come across and, well, live your life according to how you live, but also how your body reacts to things. We are made up of purely electrical impulses, and every time we deny or don't pay attention to something that means something to us in a good or a bad way, I feel like we don't acknowledge ourselves. We don't acknowledge our inner self. We don't acknowledge the things that are truly making us us. I think a lot of times, especially with the people that we interact with on a daily basis, we pick up on so much energy from outside of our internal self. So I think it's that much more important that we do pay attention to those feelings, because with all the energy we interact with on a day-to-day basis, we really need to be in touch with what we are feeling and what is not external feelings. Anyway, y'all have a great day and enjoy this Monday. Bye.